we are back.
What's up,
Mr.
Doc?
Doc. Yeah, look at this. How we doing over there? What's going on with you over there?
We're doing, man. We're doing. The world has changed. The world has changed, and so must we.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, thanks so much for taking the time today. A lot of different things going on in the world, but
Yeah.
you and your company are making a huge impact and really helping ones make this transition in this pivotal time. So I wanted to hear a little bit about yourself, your backstory, and then Dubb. So could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thank you so much for asking, and thanks for really this opportunity to share this story. The fact of the matter is that I mostly do a lot of the question asking, and what I love about the question asking is that I don't necessarily need to talk about myself. I can talk about other people and put them on a pedestal. But since you asked, here's kind of the story. I really come from a background of storytelling and content creation and this idea of wanting to build relationships digitally, and I've been obsessed with that idea ever since I was a kid. And my first startup was in 1994 as a little boy, and I didn't know much about anything, but I knew that I wanted to connect people, and it was sort of like this profile-based, very early Frankensteinian social network of some capacity. And it was ultimately a failure. It was a failure of the dot-com bust, but it was one of the most incredible learning experiences for me because we saw what it's like to really connect people on social. And back then, people didn't necessarily understand this idea of just being able to put their stuff on the internet and feel comfortable with it. Now, this was in the mid 90s. So you can imagine how much it's changed now. Now it's I feel awkward if I don't put stuff on the internet. I don't really have meetings anymore where I don't record them and share them. So it's become, an ultra transparent world for us. And, fast forward so many years, decades really, and, I found myself in a situation where as a marketing leader, I was under a lot of pressure to drive revenue, to drive sales, to build relationships. And I started to kind of put together this, once again, Frankensteinian version of something, which was a combination of, I think, Google Drive and some recording tools, QuickTime, and a couple of landing pages, some HubSpot, and a whole lot of chewing gum and duct tape. And from that came Dubb 1.0, which was essentially the idea of allowing people to share their ideas, to put their value and put their storytelling ahead of the chase that we all know about in sales. Because a lot of people say in sales that it's, gold is in the follow up and it's grind, grind, grind and hustle. And I kind of disagreed with that. I said, listen, we should be able to put our value up front and build that trust up front, first and foremost. So that's how Dubb started. And then fast forward now to a couple of years, and it's become incredible. It's become so much fun to build a community and to empower people to do exactly what that vision was, to share stories, to build trust, and to drive their business and to drive sales specifically. So we're very, very conversion focused because now more than ever, we need to optimize, we need to streamline, and we need to make easier ways to drive our sales without physically being next to the person. We need to take our businesses digital for a hot minute.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about, I think I've used the platform almost a year. And
Mm.
just over that time, there's just been so many advancements, so many things that have been added to the platform.
Yeah.
It really shows the difference of what's happening. Could you just talk about how did you start building on those features, and really start going one step at a time? Like, yeah, I would love to know that.
Dubb in so many ways is just a product of customer feedback. People ask us tons and tons and tons of things, and we answer and we build and we iterate and we test and we fail sometimes. But it's just all a culmination of that feedback and of that data. And that specifically comes from solving problems. People have problems that they want to solve. Problem number one is when I meet someone at a business conference or a meeting. Remember when we used to have those? When I physically meet someone, I want to be able to follow up with them and go back and say, listen, I really enjoyed talking to you and let's have a follow up. So there's a use case, there's a need for that. And what happens a lot of the times is that we lose the business card and we forget to follow up. So the Dubb mobile app started to become something that was really active for people, where they could record a video right on the spot, and within seconds they can go and they can share that with a person or with multiple people through a campaign. So everything has really come from customer needs, and we've just been psyched to get that data. With that data comes a tremendous amount of transparency and, frankly, vulnerability. So we have leaned into this idea of being mega vulnerable as a company, and I'll explain what that means. We have a Facebook group which is very active, thousands of members now, and it's really interesting because when there's good stuff, we get positive feedback and people are excited and they support us and they want stuff and all that. But when there are bad stuff like bugs or features that need some iteration or certain things that need to get kind of tweaked up or upgraded, then people are very vocal about that, right? And for the most part, I'd say 98% of the time, people are very supportive, they're very empathetic, they're compassionate, they're experienced to know that software is not perfect, it takes time to iterate. Even the best platforms on the planet, trillion-dollar companies have bugs, they have issues, they got to work through things, the Zooms and the Microsofts and the Apples and stuff. We've all dealt with issues like that. So most people are empathetic about that, in the fact that it does take time to iterate technology. It does take time to navigate around Chrome and Outlook and LinkedIn and iOS and Android. And it's we have integrations. We have probably almost 100 integrations across all of our things. And it's a juggle.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about this. I remember when you had the Chrome extension come live, and the first time I used it, at first I was having trouble with it, but then it just kept getting better and better. And it was, what I like about it is not only do you add features, but it's really easy to use when those things go live. At first, when I heard it, I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to download this thing. I'm not sure if it's going to. It's just so instant. It's right there with the logo. You click on it, and then it's already prompting you what you need to do. And I remember the first time I used it, I was like, I'm not sure if people are going to respond to this, but I saw someone else use it, and so I just had a notepad, and I just wrote the person's name on it and just flashed it in front of the camera before I started talking. And like my open rates were just going up, and I was like,
yeah,
I just didn't think it was going to be that easy. Like I had always heard it, but I was like, no, people aren't going to just do that just because their name's in front or I'm sending a video. So it's really impactful. It was really powerful when I started using it.
And then when you say that you put someone's name, explain that a little bit. I didn't quite follow.
Yeah. So what I did was I put someone's name. So basically, I took a just a notepad and I wrote their name, and then I flashed it in front of the camera.
Got it.
So when they just the GIF that they would see me with their name, so they knew it was real. And it wasn't, something fake or anything like that. And then automatically, that person opened it like instantly. And the time before, I tried to send an email. It didn't work. I was doing a follow-up, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to see what happens. Let me just try this video and see. And then instantly they watched the video, and then I had the call to action right there on that page.
Right.
And I was like, that's such a game changer. Now I'm going to be switching over this week. All my Book Like a Boss, I'm going to do the integration to make sure everything's just on the same page now.
Man, I got to tell you, my secret, not so secret weapon is my calendar booking pages. I've got half a dozen of them. For every single major activity that I do, I set up a calendar booking page. So I got a press one, I got a sales one, I have a testimonial one, I have a podcast invite one, and a couple others. And those things have helped me so much in my business, because the back and forth of trying to schedule something in a calendar, my calendar, their calendar, it's extremely inefficient.
Yeah.
And it's just a waste of time. So, creating those calendar, I always recommend people create those calendar pages. Get your calendar set up. Use, a QD scheduler, HubSpot, Book Like a Boss, Calendly, Schedule Once. There's a couple others. We integrate with all of them. If there are new ones that you guys are using, we can build the integrations, because it will save a ton of time, and time is money right now.
Yeah, I was just thinking, even when we booked our call, I was like, I liked how it looked. I was like, okay, I got to do this. And it was just so easy. So I think this is actually a really good time to kind of pivot and talk about when Dubb was announcing that they were remote, that you did a campaign with Product Hunt. Could you talk about a little bit about that? How long were you planning that? And then obviously society changed so quickly. Could you just go down that road?
Absolutely. That was a very quick response to demand that we were receiving, where all of a sudden we noticed that people needed to be able to communicate and carry on with their businesses. So Dubb Remote was really a response to that. And what we had realized was we had been working on a product hunt campaign, and it initially tentatively was titled Dubb 5.0, which is interesting. It's that's thick and juicy 5.0, but what we realized was at that point 5.0 was basically Dubb Remote, and it was allowing people to do a lot of the stuff that they're already doing, but remotely, working from home in a situation just like this, what I'm in and what you're in right now.
Yep.
And that really was the light bulb moment for us. And it was a good choice. We're glad we did it. And it really, I think what it most importantly it did was, aside from the marketing, and we had a nicely sort of successful product hunt campaign. I think it ended up with almost 500 votes. I don't really truly understand the product hunt ecosystem just quite yet. I don't. I think it's a cool place to launch products, but I think that there's so much more that they could do from a monetization, from a conversion, from an e-commerce perspective. I don't know why they don't have, a marketplace or at least partnerships so that creators, founders, builders, marketers can really go to the next level. I mean, even press outreach. If there's writers and journalists and publicists that are on Product Hunt, I would love for there to be some sort of a forum there, an angel list for other sort of industry folks. So anyways, that's just kind of my 2 cents on Product Hunt. I love their branding. I think it's a great company. It's a great platform, but that's just my suggestions.
Just a side point. Did you
Yeah.
see the founder just made Stack? Did you see that?
No.
It's I gotta send it. It's like an emoji of like a stack of pancakes, but it's talking about how you stack all of your different tech stacks,
Ah,
and it's a mixture, like you were saying. It's very different. It's very raw, but it basically shows people how they're tech stacking all their businesses or hacking their life together. That they
ah,
released a couple weeks ago. It's like some of the things I'm always like, man, I wish they did that with Product Hunt. I'm like, oh, they're doing it over there. But Product
oh,
Hunt
okay.
in the ecosystem, that's like a day and a half. But I do have something for you later on to help you with that.
Okay, cool. And then I have something for you regarding that piece of paper that you just showed me. So remind me to
Oh,
talk
good.
about the whiteboard thing in just a heartbeat here. So anyways, Dubb Remote really was and is a way to empower people to carry on with their businesses and to take those real life connections, relationships, storytelling moments, and then just to move those into the digital realm. It's what people are already doing, but now it's more integrated, it's more holistic. Grab the Dubb mobile app, grab the Dubb desktop recorder, grab the Dubb Chrome extension, grab the dozens of integrations that we have. I already mentioned LinkedIn, Gmail, HubSpot, so many others, and then start to use those all sort of in a harmonious way. Because as you start to do that, and as you start to get into that cadence, you're going to realize something. And it's the single idea that live videos are great and synchronous communication is great when you can establish it. It took us a couple of weeks or days to set this up. We trust each other, we know each other. There's something pre-existing that we have here so that we can end up in this situation. But for the vast majority of us, it's way higher up in the realm and funnel and world of relationships where we're not going to get this opportunity. And that's really where asynchronous video, pre-recorded videos that are sent to people so that they can watch it on their time, on their terms, on their device at the time that they want to watch it. That's what's, I think, going to become most relevant for people, especially if you're pitching, if you're in sales, marketing, business development, publicity. It doesn't matter. Get that pitch, get that story across. Value first, screen record, webcam record, mobile record, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Be authentic, just get it out there. So I think that's going to become very relevant for people. And then, as we decided to support our user base and just by offering free unlimited storage and videos for the foreseeable future. So what that means basically is just use Dubb right now. It's going to help you. Just use it. We don't care about the money. Go on a free plan. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of the features on the free plan, but you are going to get a lot at the same time. There's a lot that you can do there. You can do all the same stuff that everyone else can do, minus some of the branding stuff. But you can still share your stories and get your message across. So we're here to kind of evangelize that. One of the things, Doc, that I could use your help with is that we're about to do a big press release.
Hmm.
Within the next 48, 72 hours, we're about to formally launch Dubb Remote. And Product Hunt was just the beginning of that. So we're going to get this message out to the world. So, if you know journalists, if you know writers, to the people that are listening to this, please consider sharing this content, sharing our website, dubb.com, with the people that can kind of evangelize this. Because, are we a business that's trying to grow? Yes, we are. Are we a for-profit company? Yes, we are. But at the same time, I feel like we're responding to a demand, and I feel like we've made a lot of offerings, and there's a lot of generosity in our free stuff. So in the spirit of what Zoom does, where you can use it up to, I think, 45 minutes, it's a similar type thing where we're not going to nickel and dime you. If you just want to stay on the free plan, that's cool. We have people and we support people that are on the free plan for a year. So wherever you're at in the process, we support it. We have empathy. We just want to see people succeed.
That's awesome to hear. And yeah, definitely, I will be talking about this. Actually, we're going to be doing a session on Thursday with our nightly show, Build With Me, where we're going to be featuring how to build out your business using Dubb, either integrating it with your own business to get your business to the next level, or perhaps you see a huge opportunity using Dubb and helping others, and you want to understand how you can create a side hustle or a separate business just using this platform. So Thursday night, we're going to be going live for about 2.5 hours and talking about all this. So we'll definitely be putting it out in the ecosystem and getting people noticing this.
Nice. And then just give me a link or give me a title and where people can find this. I just want to put some text on the screen here.
Yeah. So it's going to be two different things. It's going to be at brandfactoryinc.com, and the main page is going to be Build With Me, where they can sign up. And when we go live on Thursday, go there. And then actually tomorrow, the new site is going live. It's buildwithme.gg. And that's for gamers and streamers. So GG stands for good game. So that site will be live tomorrow when we start going, presenting all the different episodes. It started as an experiment last week after talking to different communities, no code community, AppSumo community, of trying to help people in this time. And then we've been getting some really good feedback. So for 40 days straight, we're going to be streaming every night, building people's businesses.
That's awesome, man. I think that's so cool. This idea of a jam session, where in real time we can see how someone can leverage technology and build up certain things. I mean, that's the future. I feel like, this is the new form of a webinar, basically, where it's much more interactive and it's less kind of time sensitive. It's much more, here, we're going to do something live, and then that asset exists out there in the ether for people to consume on their own time. So, I think that's the perfect hybrid of what we were talking about earlier, which is synchronous and then repurposed to an asynchronous situation. So shout out to you, man, for innovating on that. Can't wait to tune into that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And no, I'm looking forward to doing this on Thursday and really showing people the capability and really showing opportunities that they can take notice of this.
Cool.
So,
and then I've got a little something for you, if you don't mind.
Oh,
yeah. So if you could probably see my screen. For the people that are just listening to the audio version of this, please go and try to find this video on Dubb Live or the Facebook group for Dubb, or Doc's group as well. So, you can search for this, I'm sure, but there's going to be some visuals for this. But basically what I'm going to show very quickly here is the Dubb whiteboard feature, which is actually a new feature on the Dubb mobile app. So now in the Dubb mobile app, what happens is on the top right, there's a pencil icon. And when you click that pencil icon, you get a screen here. And then on this screen, what you can do is you can add some quick text and then add a little bit of color, a little bit of flavor, and have this text basically take the function of the whiteboard. the piece of paper that you were doing. So now when I record my webcam videos, I'm taking the Dubb mobile app using the web whiteboard feature with a little bit of text. In this case, I have high doc on it just to get your attention. And then this will be my thumbnail. So we are going to save paper, Doc, together.
That's good times. No, I love that. That is, man, that's perfect. I mean, that's such a good way of that. Oh man, you can iterate and move so quickly doing that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got to start looking at that. I got to start using that feature.
Yeah.
This has been great. Now, I really thank you so much for telling your story.
Yeah.
What has happened with the company. Dubb, what I love about the platform as well, it allows me to have the flexibility and see what's working, what's not working with my messaging, but also it allows me to push forward and start seeing how I can use this as a very focal, just basically a very important tool in my business for outreach and connection in a genuine way. So I just thank you for taking the time, for showing us this. And again, we're going to be promoting Dubb Remote and talking about this, and especially on Thursday in the episode, we'll be going with a deep dive into the platform as well.
Nice, man. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. Thanks for what you're doing for the community, creating original content to educate people and to help them to grow their businesses, whether it's a small business or a medium-sized business or even a big business is such an important part of what we need right now, because we all need to sharpen our pencil and just get a little bit more creative on what we're doing. So thanks again for your efforts within the community.
Not a problem, man. All right. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you, Doc.